Software and tech categories have been insanely competitive over the past 6 months at least. And we're going to look at why that is and more importantly, what you should do about it. It's really mind-blowing because for a couple $100 a month, you can easily equip an SDR with tools like Apollo and Clay. And these tools make prospect research and personalized outreach at scale a breeze. The result is that your buyers are getting hit by better quality outreach. And depending on your industry, you might get hit on the phone, you might get hit on email, might get hit on, Slack direct messages or on LinkedIn or any other social network. And it's pretty easy to see that it cannot go on like this. In fact, there's a company called Bench Sites by David Spitz. And what they have found is that over the past 12 months, the GTM cost ratio, which is the amount that companies spend on sales marketing divided by the net new revenue per year, has jumped from 125% to 220 something percent in the past 12 months, which is it's enormous. So the cost to go to market has almost doubled when you compare it to how much you're actually making. The tools and the fact that it's getting more and more competitive is the primary thing to blame. And of course, you have the macro factors like the recession and the fact that buyers aren't in market as much these days. But if you are trying to sell technology these days, it's getting more and more expensive and it's getting more competitive and harder. So what do you do when this happens? And I'll tell you one thing, you can focus on the stuff that worked in the 1990s when billboard marketing was a big thing. Because the last 50 years of marketing and advertising have really taught us a lot about what to do when things get really competitive in a medium or when the economy is down and buyers aren't really buying. You just need to look at history and apply it to your situation and your context today. When we will have completely shot ourselves in the foot with cold outbound tools, which is already happening. When we will lose the ability to directly target people, which is already happening since the Cambridge Analytica fiasco and everything else that's going on. And when retargeting and attribution become almost impossible, which again is already happening with the phasing out of third-party cookies, then you're left with, what are you left with? Well, you might say not a whole lot, but actually there's a lot that you can still do on all of the channels. And let's take a look at some of these. Number one, super important, focus on story, okay? Because a compelling narrative matters more than ever. When you can't be in customers' faces at the right time in the crucial moment, you have to start your targeting way earlier in the buying process, which means that it's not enough to just show up when they want to buy. You have to start targeting before they are in market. You have to be the first one at the gate. So when people are dropping into buying mode, you already have to be on their radar. In fact, there's a study that came out recently that said that 70 or 72% of B2B purchase decisions are made in favor of companies who were around when the company went in market. So B2B companies bought from companies who they already knew when they started looking for a solution. Okay, number two, focus on memorable buying experiences, because just like in the old days when things got competitive, think about department stores. What did they do to get buyers and to be able to continually raise prices? Well, they made shopping into an experience. And this is what we're seeing happening to B2B. And it's already going big in consumer marketing. So traditionally, B2B, people would take out their clients or their prospects to golf and to restaurants and whatnot. Well, that's becoming scammy and illegal. So you've got to think of other ways to elevate the game and to create memorable buying experiences. And again, I recommend looking for ways in which you can add value, personalized value. And this is where account-based marketing really comes in handy, where you can tailor the experience to every single company, because each company is a market of one. And within that market of one, you have all the buying committee members, and it really pays off to know your buyers and to tailor the buying experience to their special needs. I don't believe so much in perks, although that does help. So if you send gift cards and presents and clever stuff and you take them out to nice dinners and whatnot, that definitely does help, but it's the easiest thing and the most obvious thing to do. So most of your competitors are already doing that. So you're not going to stand out by organizing another free drinks thing at the next conference. Okay. And what's really becoming big, the third thing, is partner marketing. So again, it's nothing new. It's been around forever, at least since the Middle Ages. But look at your partners and look at companies who sell to the same audience as you, but you're not competing with them, and you can provide value to their buyers and vice versa. So you can help other companies that way. Traditionally, larger companies have been pursuing it. And the reason is that before you get your GTM straight, before you figure out how you're able to market and sell your thing, it's not really worth it to go after partners, because if you don't know how to sell your shit, they're not going to figure it out for you, and they're not going to know either. Okay. So there's some downsides to partner marketing, such as losing the connection to the buyer and losing control of the GTM process. But if you have your own process, your own GTM figured out and dialed in, it's really going to come in handy, and it's probably the best way to scale beyond 8 million, 10 million, and however many million. Okay. So these are 3 things. I hope this was good. And give us a rating on Spotify or Apple or wherever you're listening or watching this. And I will see you around.